Hello and welcome to Eat Your Greens. I'm John.
And I'm Christopher. Hey, John.
Yeah?
Do you eat your greens?
Nope. Anyway, today we're back for another VeggieTales review. And this episode is a thing.
That's insulting. It's called God Wants Me to Forgive Them.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, we are taking a look at all the episodes of VeggieTales. We grew up watching it. It's been a while since we last saw it, and so we're going to be watching it now. So yeah, what do you want to start us out with, bro?
Since the theme song is the theme song, that's not necessarily going to change it. So, I guess it kind of just goes into the first episode of The Grapes of Wrath because it kind of ties in with the countertop, which I thought it was really interesting. Again, like I couldn't explain it so well, but like in the previous episode, we kind of had Larry in a very like moral, a good moral standing for a character. It's like you know, like we understand it's still like developing the character. So like he did have his funny moments, but at the same time he was like,
in this episode
he told the story.
He was closer to what we see him normally.
Well,
later on,
like in the second story, voice wise,
okay. He's much closer to what he will become.
But in terms of like in the second story, like. I feel like it fleshes out his personality more. When the first story, him telling the story was interesting because ideally it would be Bob telling the story. Mm-hmm. But not only that, I also noticed that we didn't have a letter. Instead, it was their friend Marco or somebody that needed help. Yeah, that Marco. They just randomly mentioned.
Marco, who
was it? Marco?
Marco from bowling.
Yeah.
Have you've seen this episode before?
The Grapes of Wrath thing has been a long while.
It has. I think of this one, that's the one I remember the most. I just remember the visual of that janky old car.
Which seems bumpier than
going
ever.
on. But yeah, the Grapes of...
Can you imagine, at like Universal, they have like a VeggieTales land or something? Okay. What if? And one of the attractions was the Grapes of Wrath car.
As long as we got a bamboo helicopter to go with it, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like that would make me so dizzy.
Perhaps, yeah. That was a weird thing of animation, but the Grapes of Wrath themselves is a reference, which I did not know as a kid. Why would I ever know? The Grapes of Wrath, I believe, is a play that is made into a movie. I don't remember what it is. I don't know the story.
I don't know the story either.
I don't know the story, but apparently it's similar. I don't know, by name only, the Grapes of Wrath. And we're introduced to these characters, the Ma and Pa. But I had no idea they were grapes.
You thought they were peas?
I thought they were ginormous peas.
We are the peas of wrath.
I mean, so that was just... a shock.
I mean, that is very interesting, especially as we are rewatching these. We are watching them as we are older, in our 20s. My God, we are in our 20s. We are in our 20s watching them with more mature, like we understand things better. So when you look back at things, it's just really interesting, like you perceived something so wrong as a child, and you look back, it's like, so that's what it actually is, and it messes with your brain big time.
Maybe I didn't think they were peas. They were just these green things.
Green things. We are the green things of wrath.
Yes, but yeah, that bumpy road was... the animation...
No, they need to take it to the car shop.
Yeah, like, because that was very distracting watching that. Like, it was almost nauseous, the way it was
just watching it.
Just watching
Imagine being in it. That's why they need to make it a Universal ride.
Yeah, sure. That's an interesting thing. And that little... P as a grape kid is actually 18 years old.
18 years old.
18 years old. What?
At first I thought they said 10, but no, 18.
Yeah.
Also, their accents were just downright hilarious. See, because we were talking on we have a podcast called...
do. Podcast name in brackets.
Yes. And I said ma and pa. I said how they're southern and stupid, basically. Like, I didn't mean it in an offensive way, but it's just like when you think of someone saying mother and father, you just think of them as British. When they say ma and pa, you think of them as southern, and that's exactly what they did with those annoying voices. Ma, what?
Stop it, man.
What?
Stop it. Not again.
Pa.
You overreact. And like I said, the ma and pa situation, they sound like they're worrisome, which they were worried because they were being teased by each other.
It's just funny, though. See, I told you, southern. It's so southern.
Yeah, it is a typically southern thing.
Yeah.
It's a southern thing to do. I don't know what I'm doing right now. It's not southern. It's like a almost Australian southern. Maybe New Zealand. Who knows?
There was one question. So at one point, the tree ran away. Do you understand that?
The tree ran away because the car was going to run into it.
I thought it was on the side of the road.
It was in the middle of the road, I think. Because they're saying, like, heck, we don't care where the grapes of wrath will run over trees.
Okay.
And the tree starts running. And
then the tree commits suicide by jumping in the river or pond. I don't know. Why did it jump in the pond? It was suicidal.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was just strange. It was strange.
I don't think trees are suicidal.
I don't know what. It was just strange. That's all.
You're strange.
I know. But with the story itself, what were your thoughts? Because, again, this is one of VeggieTales' first stories. And just like what we observed from the first one.
Yeah, what's very interesting about this one is that there's no retelling of the Bible stories in this one. This is all, original. They create their own stories, which I thought was interesting and kind of brought the episode down a tiny bit. Because I do love my retelling in VeggieTales. Those are really good stuff.
Well, I mean, they retold the Grapes of Wrath.
Yes. Shut up. Sorry. But yeah, we see Junior, and
is that cheese on his head?
No, but yeah, Junior. Something I wanted to say, he wears his hat sideways. I never liked that as a kid. As a kid, I tried that. It was so uncomfortable.
I tried it too.
Yeah, just because of VeggieTales. It's let me try that.
No.
I hate that. No. So yeah, Junior wears his side hat sideways, and then of course he took it off, and it became poofy, like an afro, which got me thinking: are the asparaguses supposed to be African American?
What? Actually, Mr. Nezer is technically African American.
Who?
Mr. Nezer.
So, I see.
I don't think the asparagus are. Because in time, they made Junior's afro more asparagus-like.
I see, yeah, okay. But I think, from that first one, this is just being stereotypical of just afro means black.
Right.
But that's just what I got. It's And I think that somewhat makes sense with it being part of Grapes of Wrath, because I think there was a racial aspect story going on in Grapes of Wrath, which grapes and asparaguses could be a racial diversity that we're facing in this country. Yeah, go on. Just say something.
Yeah. You're tired of talking?
I'm tired of talking.
Okay, fine. Yeah, the storytelling was interesting. Again, kind of like with the Tales of the Crisper, it was kind of done in a semi-direct way in order to be hey kids, when you do something wrong, you need to say sorry. And when someone says sorry, you need to say, I forgive you. It was kind of that very direct talking to kids. It wasn't as focused on the story as it was the message.
On top of that, the story of them actually telling this part of the Bible, They didn't actually say it. Larry comes in and narrates that they said it, which I'm not entirely sure if I really like, because I don't know.
You mean like
Larry interrupting and just generalizing.
Wait, I have to forgive? Yeah, you have to forgive. Is that what you mean?
No, like before that, where he says, so Dad says to them, it's like, oh, God says we gotta forgive. Instead,
you wanted it direct, like Dad to actually say it?
Probably, yeah, I would say that. But yeah, that's the thing.
No, I kind of get that. I guess like if Dad said it, it would have been longer. But still, that is interesting that they didn't just say it. It just like was like, oh yeah. That's all I like. Again, I guess they just want to be very direct to kids.
Yeah,
but that's all I have to say in regards to that. Unless
but this is a very important message.
I mean, it is.
It is, and it's one that I think is very important, especially today, with the thingy
tensions in our nation right now.
When
is that what you mean?
When you don't
be honest, be direct.
When you order a package and you don't want it, and you press cancel.
What?
A cancel culture.
What the errors of like social media is the fact that like it's instantaneous. Our culture is very instantaneous today. Back then, right? Remember the Pony Express? It took them who knows how long for the letter to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't an email that it got to them directly. So so it's very easy for us today to make accusations, and it's just all I can really describe it is, but it's basically just toxic. And throughout this year, that I've just kind of been less liking social media.
We really need to forgive more. No.
We need to forgive. And I feel like a lot of people are really like on the edge in terms of like forgiving. Like they don't really know like when is the right time to forgive. Like there's just like a lot of questions that a lot of people are having right now, I feel. So, like, is this appropriate situation to forgive? Like, should we? I don't know. Like, there's just so much, and it's so confusing, and it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. But at the same time, culture's interesting. I really don't have that much else.
Yeah, so the episode, I think, does a good job of telling the story of trying to forgive.
I think it does a good job at educating
It's a
kids.
good example of, like, hey, this is how you forgive. This is how you say I'm sorry. And God said so. And then they go back and forth with the countertop with Larry, and they had to find out, like, how many times should we forgive someone?
What was your answer?
My answer was 77.
No. And then 70 times 7, what was your math?
My math was 420.
Because, like, I've done the math before, like, I had already known, so.
Yeah. Math is hard.
It is.
It's...
That's why we're not majoring in it.
7 times 7... 49?
Add a 0.
Yeah, I know it's 490, but 49? Is that the right number?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they did say it. But yeah, the verse that they give for that was Matthew 18:22, which is the verse I actually thought when thinking about forgiveness. When they said how many times you forgive, of course you got to forgive at least 77 times.
Point is,
it's
endless.
Yeah,
we should just be in a spirit of forgiving people.
Yeah. That shows that we care.
And that we love.
Yes, and even it might be hard to forgive your enemies, because there's one thing that's like you can forgive someone. That's fine. That's the easy part. befriending people you don't like. That's the hard part. Getting the relationship to go on. That's one thing that also needs a lot of work today, because it's hard to forgive, but that's not the hardest thing to do. Forgive them. Sure, I forgive you. Now go away. I don't want to see you again. That's not what we should do. We have to embrace them. If we don't like to, that's what we're called to do. So you want us to forgive them? Yes. And hug them.
That's a good one.
Get off me, you freak.
What, you?
You. All right, let's move on.
The Forgive-O-Matic.
Yes, the intermission for this episode. No silly song.
What's your thoughts on that?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
That was the most I laughed during the episode.
Because it's like, I don't know, what is this going on? It's like, it's just pretty much like an info commercial.
Yeah.
Where it's someone's infomercial on TV where it's like, buy this thing. Don't know if it works or not, but hey, buy now and you get this other thing.
Yeah.
We got a miner from West Virginia to help out.
It was hilarious.
Yes.
So, like, there was one thing he said, have you ever put a snake in your sister's bed? And then when she found out she runs 5 miles without getting out the bed, like, that was hilarious.
That's bad.
It's just so funny.
Yeah, that was great humor. Like, that was, like, pure and great humor.
Like, that is my type of humor. I'm just, like, my humor is, like, so dumb and funny like that.
And, like, this intermission actually connected heavily on the message, unlike silly songs.
And, like, reinforced it in a way that the 2 episodes didn't. In fact, that, like, Jesus forgives us. While the other 2 episodes were more about, like, oh, we need to forgive others, the intermission was like, yeah, we can ask for forgiveness from Jesus.
Yes, and the bit went on for a long time. Fun jokes. And then he says, oh, by the way, get a potato. You can make some French fries out of that.
You were...
I was...
not happy.
I was kind of shocked by that. Shock was like, what? They're vegetables. Later in the series...
Veggist.
Yeah. Later in the series, we get a potato as a character.
Uh-huh. No, we had a potato right there. The miner. Wasn't he a potato?
I don't know. He was a miner from West Virginia. But, hey, put potatoes and make French fries.
That's veggist.
You're killing potatoes, man.
Yeah, you're not... It's veggist.
Is this... What? What is going on?
But then again, what do they eat? All right. Popcorn!
Cheeseburgers.
True. But you know what's in a cheeseburger?
Meat.
Sliced tomatoes. So that means it wasn't a cheeseburger. It was a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
No, because it was the cheeseburger. Cheese.
I'm just being stupid.
Chick-fil-A sandwich.
I'm being stupid.
Chick-fil-A sandwiches
because
are chicken.
I call them burgers. Yes. Because it's two pieces of bread with meat. That's what I consider a burger. So the meat is chicken.
It's a chicken sandwich.
Burger. It's a chicken burger.
Hush.
No, you.
So then we go on to the second story, which again, not Bible centric, and it's a parody of.
Oh wait, it is
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, it is.
Like,
I don't know that story. So.
No, because like the entire intro, like they said the 3-hour tour so many times, and like. As they were like naming these characters, they were pretty much doing the intro song for Gilligan's Island. It's like, so we have the professor and the person star and movie star as well.
The movie star and the girl.
Yes.
Canceled.
I mean,
it was funny.
I have to show you.
Okay.
The footage of the actual intro.
Okay.
Then you'll get it.
Okay. Got it.
But yeah,
Okay.
It's a Gilligan's Island reference. They crashed. Larry is Russian. Whales are saved.
So that's Gilligan's Island?
I don't know.
No?
But Larry is Russian.
Right.
He becomes a Russian.
Which, by the way, that daydream, like I said in like the first episode, like that was a little scary, like for kids. You know, like
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Red lights, a weird accent, angry whales stuck in ice. Like that.
No. Scary. No. We gotta continue, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go or should I go?
You go.
So they get shipwrecked.
How they get shipwrecked is just flat out ridiculously hilarious.
Yeah, apparently Larry was on LSD and mistook rocks as an iceberg while trying to save the whales.
First off, it's not even a good idea to even try to smash an iceberg.
No, definitely not.
That's what happened with the Titanic.
They barely even touched that thing. And
but the thing is, like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
The iceberg sunk the ship. You never run into an iceberg. Unless... hey, guys, if you ever sailed a ship and wrecked an iceberg, please let us know in the comments. Because we want to know if you're actually able to do that.
They wrecked an iceberg.
What did I say?
They wrecked an iceberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they actually wrecked an iceberg and survived and the ship was A-okay, let us know in the comments because that's it.
We don't know. We're blind and silly and lost without Jesus. I don't know what to do next, man.
I thought it was interesting, like the point that it wasn't super direct, but it was interesting enough because, like, Larry's like, and he said, "I'm sorry," and then Bob was like, "Well, sorry, just saying sorry isn't enough," and so Larry leaves because he doesn't feel like he's enough, and that's something I've wondered myself. I feel like in my family, I don't think was always exercised the best. It's like, I'll tell my dad, "I'm sorry," and he just didn't really always seem like to accept it. I'm like, so what else am I supposed to do? I plan on doing better.
Yeah,
I hope we can accept that.
But they don't really teach anything else. They decide, oh,
well, they
sorry is enough.
Right. I mean, they had to reinforce the whole forgiveness thing.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But, like, and they did in basically like 3 different ways throughout this whole episode.
Yeah. Which, hey, if you want to get your point across, we got it.
Especially for youngsters.
Youngsters. Ma, pa.
You want me to do the voices again?
I do not.
I knew it. But yeah, I thought it was just interesting, like, just looking at these 2 stories, like, how simple they are. I don't think necessarily that's a critique in a bad way. It's an observation because, especially if you go into the series more, they have some somewhat complex stories sometimes. And so, like, these stories are really simple. And I just thought that, and because I feel like the main point was to reinforce the point, but it still struck me as interesting.
Yeah. There was this shot here when Bob is looking for Larry, and he's running through the jungle. I was watching that, and I thought, that's a very complicated shot for CGI. I mean, if the character's just running, that's fine. But the camera is moving forward as Bob is running. Not entirely complicated. But he's in a tropical island, and so there's trees all over the place that have tiny movements, and they're moving forward as well. So there's a lot of rendering that needs to be done for that. And I thought, It's we're only in episode 2 when we have this complicated shot, and I thought that was really interesting.
I kind of noticed in some regards the animation was better than the first one for sure. I mean, like as we kind of know, like they had more time or even more money to produce this episode.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there were some elements where, like, you can kind of like see like just things. It was almost like these like oversized pixels that almost comprised.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of throughout these things I've noticed that there's just been a lot of small animation errors where like lighting just suddenly like just changes for a quick second and then brought back. Pixels are coming in and out, and that's the thing with 3D animation. The character models will sometimes do that,
right?
And that was the case for the car because that car is already moving jankily, and then of course I've noticed a few times where there's just a quick second of just even surprise jank that's not supposed to be intentional, but yeah, old stuff.
Yeah, like I noticed a few things, but at the same time, like I didn't really focus too heavily on some of it.
Yeah.
But still, whenever you did notice it, it was interesting. But like I said previously, better than what I could do.
But yeah, so the story ends with a singing coconut tree.
You know what I know? No, I won't. Just in case. Copyright.
That is
just in case.
That is a weird thing to end your story, man. Yeah, that was strange.
It was fun though. That song is classic for me.
Not for me. But yeah, that tree just out of nowhere starts singing. It's like,
oh yeah. So that's the thing. Like he comes on and he says, "Do you mind?" And they all go, "No!" And so as a kid, I never understood that, and I still don't. That's why I never ask you, "Do you mind?" Because if you say no, I'm gonna think you meant no.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay. Because first off, especially how they said no, it really almost seemed like displeased, like that collective no. But they kind of meant go ahead, but that never communicated well to me as a kid, and so now this whole "do you mind" phrase it's just been so messed up in my brain. So if someone asked me, "Do you mind?" I would probably rephrase what they asked me in a way that I can directly say yes or no to that question instead of the "do you mind?"
Right.
So if someone said, "I need a napkin, do you mind getting one for me?" And I'll just say, "I'll get it for you," instead of saying yes or no, because I don't know what is yes or no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really weird for me, but...
In which case, I answer with sure.
Do you mind? Sure.
Because it's not a yes. Like, it's not a yes, I do mind. It's like, sure, I'll do it. Because it's like, sure is the answer to a different question. And that's the answer I'm giving. There's nothing to do with VeggieTales.
Well, no, that was the phrase that the palm tree asked.
Yeah.
Do you mind? No.
Anyway.
Basically... all I'm saying is that you'll never catch me asking you, "Do you mind?"
Whereas I will. And I don't just say, "Do you mind?" I say, "Do you mind if I do this?" Anyway, bamboo. They made a helicopter out of it, and that's Larry's favorite catchphrase now. Bamboo.
How do you make a helicopter out of bamboo? That I'm curious.
You just do, okay? You just do. And with a second verse for today, it's Colossians 3:13b.
Do you remember what it was?
God forgives, I think.
The second shortest verse in the Bible or something. God forgives. Well, kids.
I don't
remember what it was.
God forgives is 2 words that are in that verse.
Those 2 words in the verse?
Those are 2 words that are in that verse. What the actual phrasing is, I don't know.
You don't know.
But those are at least two words that I know they're in that verse. God and forgives.
That's not even the phrase. Those are just two random words.
And you're looking it up.
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
Wait, what was it?
It's 3:13.
Oh, 13.
B.
Okay, well, B is... Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. That's NLT, by the way.
Yes, so God forgives, and you must forgive as well.
Yes. So, I mean, that's the command in Scripture. Basically, here's the thing. Like, what we sometimes don't really realize is that the law is summed up in two. Love God, love others. So, it's just those two. So, if you truly love others, then you'll forgive them. Is it a big brain moment? Do you ever say that? What do you think about when people say big brain? Because that was probably the first time I've ever said it. You have no opinion?
I don't care for that phrase.
Okay. Same. Anyways, any other thoughts on the episode?
Of course, we had the meeting. It's a good meeting. Do you think this holds up?
From an educational standpoint, yes. I feel like I said that with the previous one. But
I said that.
Oh, you said that?
I said that. You said on a nostalgic standpoint.
Okay. Well, from from nostalgia, I bet we can argue that too. But from an educational standpoint,
yes.
I mean, these are core values that are not going to change. So in that regard, yes, it holds up.
What else?
Well, I feel like that's it. Thank you guys so much. We have eaten our greens with you. I hope you enjoyed eating greens
with us?
Yes, I hope you enjoyed eating greens with us.
I didn't.
All right. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.